Hey guys, so just wanted to give you a little update of where I stand with Beyond Boundaries. It's been a long few months. I originally got the boat in May, and when I first looked at it, I immediately was in love with the boat. I thought, this is amazing, what a great project, and how lucky am I to be able to get this and hopefully turn it into something that I could do some big sails and stuff with. I had to get it out of the yard quite quickly. There was no mechanics available in Kelowna to help me with the engine work. Obviously, there was a lot of electrical work that needed to be done and some engine work that needed to be done. I was originally led to believe that a lot more engine work had been done to prep the motor for storage or after it had sunk. A lot of that work had not been done, and that there was a lot more before the boat was going to be ready to be put in the water. So what ended up happening is I got the boat, moved it to a mooring buoy in Kelowna. It became clear to me that my idea of keeping the boat in Kelowna for a season and sailing it there and then moving it down to the coast the next year didn't make any sense, and so I should just move it down there as soon as possible. We loaded the boat onto the trailer, took the mast down, secured everything, and then the boat was brought down. I came down by car the next day, and I was gonna start planning to get to work, start getting stuff done that needed to be done on the boat. I just pulled into Shelter Island Marina. Oh my gosh, this place is so cool. It feels like home. Look at this. Look at all these boats around me. And look at this beauty right here. On the hard, ready to start work and get her in the water. At that time, I was still under the impression that there was a few days of electrical work and a few days of engine work. I figured maybe a week to 10 days of work on the boat to get it ready. This is awesome. Pretty stoked. So anyway, DR should be arriving here anytime. There's a little bit of scratches and stuff from the straps, but we'll polish her out, we'll buff her out, and she'll be pretty before she goes in the water next week. Boy, was I mistaken. So I was down there for that first week and getting stuck into the different projects, tracing lines and pulling apart the electrical, getting into the engine, and ended up pulling the starter, the alternator, drained the fuel tanks. We put in new fuel filters, new oil filters, and so we were making a lot of headway, but it became very clear that the boat was going to be staying in the yard longer than I'd originally anticipated. Keep forgetting to film because I'm just busy sort of stuck deep in wiring or working on the engine. Today we brought the starter and the alternator to Brighouse Electric, and they said they'll have them rebuilt by tomorrow at noon, so come and pick them up tomorrow. Amazing service and great prices, and so I'm pretty stoked by that. But yeah, it's just been good, like a lot of progress. Starter and alternator came back, we mounted it on. Now we were able to get the engine turning, and we had the injectors, they were all out, so we were able to sort of push the old oil and stuff out through the tops of the cylinders and get things turning and lubricating. And then we put the injectors in, and then we realized that there was an issue with the injection pump. Took the injection pump off to find that it had ingested water and it had frozen and parts had expanded and cracked. That was a big setback. Found an injection pump actually on eBay, and then ended up buying it directly from the company in England. I ordered it on a Thursday, it was here on a Tuesday. Primed the system, the priming pump was working, that was the only pump that was working, and we tried to turn the engine over. It would not start. So then I realized not only was it the injection pump, but the injectors as well. So took the injectors off and had those rebuilt. In the meantime, I had done a ton of electrical work and everything else. There was a ton of other projects. We also scraped the hull. We wanted to make sure that before it went in the water, let's give it, there was some places where, as optimistic as I was early on, that the hull was still in pretty decent shape, and it was, the paint was still in pretty good shape. It turned out that it wasn't going to be expensive. We had nice weather, so we chose to put a layer of bottom paint on the boat. So we gave it a scrape and a pressure wash and put a layer of bottom coat on. And we also discovered there was a crack, like a delamination in the rudder. So we made friends with people around the yard, and this wonderful former shop teacher, Richard, Kiwi, who had his trimaran there that he was working on and was doing a bunch of epoxy work. First of all, he was wonderful and came over and ended up teaching us and helping us rebuild the rudder. got the rudder all fixed. And in fact, while Dave and I were away, he came and actually finished patching up the rudder, getting it ready for paint. And then Dave came back and he moved the jacks and finished the paint job. The steering wheel had been bent when the boat went down, so we straightened that out, and I rewired the autopilot, and I put in new instruments for depth and speed. I found some stuff used online, and I was able to order a chart plotter screen, and so everything is all one Raymarine, system. It's a little older, like 10-year-old equipment, but it works great, and for our purposes it was fine. So we got that all installed. We got new electrical panels installed. We traced wiring for lighting. We replaced all the nav lights, stern light, and the steaming lights, and the deck lights, and all that stuff was done, and I wired those into the panel. We raised the mast. Lloyd, one of the guys from Bracewell, I have to say, being down in Shelter Island was so wonderful because there were so many different trades around there and different people. I was able to just go across the way there to Bracewell, and this fellow Craig, who ran the mechanic section of the company, also a sailor and an absolute beauty, a wealth of information, and every time I had a question was able to help me out and give me some ideas, and without the help of all these various people, I couldn't have done it. We met cool neighbors that had the catamaran next to us, Felix the cat, from the States, and so it felt like a bit of a community. Met Regan down there. Just a lot of people recognized the CS36, the design, and it has a lot of fans, I guess, around. So a lot of people were interested to see what we were doing and how we were doing it, and gave us some help where they could. I asked a ton of people for help. I offered to pay some people, but in the end, it was mostly Dave and I just taking things apart and doing it ourselves. And in the process, not only did we learn a ton, but we saved ourselves tens of thousands of dollars on rebuilding and refitting this boat. The biggest benefit is now that we know what was done, we know how it works, we understand the systems, and are able to repair anything that happens in the future, replace parts as we need to, because we have a better understanding of how those parts are meant to fit together. So that was a really cool experience as well. I came off the wheel just a bit. Yes! Yeah! Woo! I don't know if you can hear it, but she's fucking running! Woo! Man, thanks, Regan. Appreciate it, brother. Just pulling into the marina, and they're about to lift the boat and bring it in the water. Got the motor running last week, and I'm confident that Dave and I are going to have a great sail. There's also some nerves. Hard days in the engine bay here. That's my transmission oil. It's finally running again.
We plan to be off the dock here in half an hour.